Good morning, everybody. How are you today? It is New Year's Day, so I hope everybody had a very safe and happy New Year's Eve, and I hope you have a very healthy and prosperous new year. Yesterday, I worked a little bit on the lathe, and I just kept hitting a brick wall. I couldn't get it going. Today, we're going to work on that big bandsaw back there. I know if you saw the video yesterday, I was concerned if I had a 30 amp breaker, and I do have a 30 amp square D breaker here. So I have the plug and the wall outlet. The issue is I don't have 10 gauge wire, and that makes me a little bit nervous. I am not going to run this bandsaw. I just want to be able to turn it on and prove it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily wire this up and with some 12 gauge wire just to get it going. This is not going to stay in the breaker box. I'm going to take the cover off the breaker box. We'll wire it all up. We're going to pop this in. We're going to test it. Then we're going to pop this out and put the cover back on the breaker box because this big saw back here is not going to be a staple of my shop. I just need to get it running again so that I can sell it. And when someone comes to see it, I want to be able to fire it up for them. So I'll pop this in. We'll fire it up. They can see that it runs. And then I can pop it right back out. So I don't plan to put, I may cut a piece of wood, but there's not going to be a load. It's not going to be running for any long period of time. I know that 10 gauge is the way to go. And between now and the time that I sell it, if I can come up with a piece of 10 gauge wire, I think we'll be okay because I'm really only going to use about probably a foot to 2 foot of this wire, just enough to hang the box, probably below. I'm going to put it into the panel, and I'll run the wires down so that the box is below the electrical panel so nothing rocks back into the panel. And then I'm just going to plug it in. The saw's got like a 8 or 9 foot cable. It's got a long cable on it. So we'll just plug the cable into that box and just enough to test it. So first order of business is we got to clean this corner out back here. With everything going on in the shop, I've piled a bunch of stuff back here. And you can see I've got my bench back here, just a bunch of junk on the floor. And I've been using this as a table for turning my bespoke pins. I got a lot of my bespoke equipment here. But we're going to get this cleared off. We're going to get all the junk off of the bottom of it. I won't even really need to roll it out, but this stuff here has got to get moved out of the way so I have free access to the electrical panel. I just put that speaker in. I'm going to have to remove it because as you can see, it overlaps the... I can open the door and get to the breakers, but I can't remove the panel. So we're going to get that removed. We'll get the panel off, and then we'll go from there. There has been a slight change in plans. Now, as woodworkers, we call those design opportunities. This is kind of like that. I've gone ahead and put my box back together. I never wired anything into the box, and the reason why is I've got my plug on the end of my cable. I've got my breaker wired to the other end, and I was ready to install it in the box. And I had two problems. I'm using 6 gauge wire, okay? It's incredibly thick. It's going to handle anything that this bandsaw can throw at it. The wire is too large to fit into the ground bar in my box. My box is designed more for home use, so 10 gauge, 12 gauge is primarily what you would use around a house. 6 is just a little too large for this to handle. That's problem one. Problem two, I got my breaker wired up, 30 amp 220 breaker. I go to put it in the box. This is the old style breaker. I got the new style box. So this isn't going to work, but I got a plan B. I got roughly 20 foot of 6 gauge wire, and I've got a plug on the end of it. I'm going to remove this breaker, and I'm going to go ahead and install this plug on the saw. Okay? I'll then go to the big box store and I will buy another plug, one that matches our dryer. And the reason why, my dryer is 220, 30 amp, okay? It's properly wired by a licensed electrician. The house was inspected when it was built, and it is about 8 feet inside the door of the garage. So what I can do is I can then put that plug on the end of this extension cord. I can plug it into the dryer, run it out the door, plug the saw up, and we can test it and make sure it runs. Now I know that you should not run something like this on an extension cord. However, using 6 gauge wire, this is the cord that the saw runs on. This stuff is probably 10 gauge. This is going to hold anything, once again, that this can throw at it. So for a temporary, it's not like I'm going to be running it all the time. I'm going to fire it up, make sure it works. I'm going to get it all tested out, clean it up, tighten it up, and I'm going to sell it. And the buyer is going to want to see it run. So it's going to need to run for a few minutes while the buyer's here, and then we unplug it and we're done. And we don't have to worry about going back into the box, undoing everything we did there. This is going to be way simpler and probably way cheaper because I'll be able to return the box that I bought that I didn't need because I had this box, and I'll buy a plug that is about $6. So basically I'll end up with a really nice extension cord if I ever need it, and if the buyer's interested, I'll sell them my extension cord. All right, looking at the shop, you'll notice the saw's gone. So all that room is now free for me to do whatever I want with. The rest of the shop, though, is in kind of bad shape. I had to move a lot of stuff just to make a path through here so that I could push that saw out this garage door and then back in the other garage door and park it right here. So now what I've got to do is I'll get the pieces for the cord, and I can very easily, this is a nice smooth floor, I can roll it right over there by the door, and just inside that door, 8 feet in that door, is the plug. I've already measured it. So I know I'm going to be in good shape once I get the parts. I'll be really glad to get that thing plugged up and running because I'm ready to list it. But I'm glad that it's out of the shop because it opens up. You'd be surprised how much space I now have just moving that one large item out of here. I can't believe it. There's a lot of cleaning and a lot of organizing to do. And I've got to really figure out, back in that back corner where the saw was, I've said this before, I want to put like an L-shaped bench, and then I want to put something on the wall to be able to hang stuff because I want to get all of my tools where they're in front of me. I also want to have the tools back there that I use. I'd like to have my one lathe for buffing. I'd like to have my bandsaw and my, I just lost the name of it, my belt sander back there because I use them in association with turning. I could free up the space out here for something else. And I don't know exactly what to do just yet. So I need to roll this around in my brain. I thought I had an idea. Now that I see the area open, I think I have a different idea. So we're going to work on this a little bit and see what we can come up with. Well, I made this drawer for my tools a long time ago. And today I'm finally finishing the front section. I've got half of it done. I need to put the other half in. And I'm going to use this little tray for, things like live centers, things like that just get laid all around. I can kind of keep them together right here in front of me. My main objective was to leave this drawer bottomless, so that way I did not have to worry about, the garbage that falls off the lathe. But quite honestly, I don't see an issue with picking that stuff up and vacuuming it out periodically. I think it's going to come in real handy, and it's really going to help me get a little better organized. Eventually, I still want to have this stuff hanging on the wall, but I can see that's going to be a ways down the road, so I'm doing what I have to do right now to get by. Now this is gonna be handy. Well guys, it's gonna about wind it up for me. Let me kind of show you around a little bit. It's not done yet, but I made a lot of progress today, and it's starting to give me ideas about some other things I want to do. Here's the area over behind the lathe. You can see I've got it all cleaned out. I got the drawer filled up. This is my bin for my dust collector, and I've got it roughly positioned because the dust collector is right above, and I need to cut a hole in the floor. I'm ready to go ahead and get that thing. It's been up there forever, and I keep forgetting about it. It's time to get it put in place. I've got my router out of my router table, so for now I'm just using the router table for all of my bespoke stuff. I just got the planer positioned there. I moved my drill press over there out of the way. I need to get this back out in the garage, but currently the big bandsaw is occupying its space. So the rest of the garage is about the same. The table's not too bad. I need to get back and finish this lathe up. And then of course, if you take a look at the main shop, that's just my scrap bin. I need to go through this. I've been piling stuff on it, but I got it pretty well cleaned up. You can see, you can get all the way around it now, but I want to get it cleaned off so that the top is empty so that I can work on it. I didn't do anything over here. Still needs to be cleaned up. And I got a couple things I need to put away on top of the table saw. Other than that, the shop is not really in bad shape. Now I just got to figure out how and what I want to do in the lathe area to get all the tools I need over there and get them organized and get everything where I can get to it, because I've still got stuff. I've got a toolbox down below that's got a bunch of stuff in it. I've got cabinets that have stuff in them. You know, the stuff in the drawer, I need to put that out. It needs to be where I can see it, find it, and get it quick and use it. And I don't exactly know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll put a little thought into that. That's coming soon. Right now, I haven't done any turning, and I'm more in the mood of just working on the shop for a little while. So I think I'm going to do that, and then we'll get back to turning as soon as the mood hits me. The bandsaw, I think I told you guys I just need to get an extension cord, or not extension cord, a longer piece of what they call 14-4, about 10 foot of that, and a plug. I'm not going to use the extension cord method that I was going to use, because what I found out is that is a 4-wire setup as opposed to a 3-wire. And that extension cord that I had 2 hots and a neutral. I need, I don't know if they're 3 hots and a neutral or 2 hots and 2 neutrals. I'm not sure how that works. However a dryer is set up, it's exactly the same as the dryer. So I'm going to buy a plug for the dryer. I'm going to buy another, I'm going to buy a longer 14-4 wire, I think it's called, and we're just going to run that, and it's going to make it a lot simpler. I got to get that thing running before I do anything with it, and I'll keep you guys posted. Beyond that, you know, I thought cleaning today I would run into a project or two, but really just cleaning up was my big project today. I did fix the drawer, but that's all I've got for now. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Next chance I get in the shop, I promise I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for all of your positive comments. Thanks for all of your Christmas and New Year's wishes. I definitely appreciate it. My family appreciates it. Y'all have a great night, and I'll talk to you again real soon.